name is Meryl Adley R. Brofas. Today, I am going to discuss about the elements of communication. Before we begin, let us find out the meaning of communication. It is the imparting or exchange of information and news, and it is also the act of transferring information. Now, let us proceed to the elements of communication. We have the sender, message, encoding, channel, receiver, decoding, and feedback. Here we have the sender. The sender is the person who is the source of information. He also chooses his purpose and how to deliver it. I need to express my idea. This is where the message enters. The message is the past ideas and the matter of actions. This can represent attitude, opinions, views, feelings, suggestions, complaints, or questions. This is the information or thoughts that the speaker is trying to convey. The message is based on how, why, and what the speaker wants to say. The next one is encoding. This represents the conversion of subject matter in certain symbols. What do we mean by that? This is where the message is assembled into forms that the speaker understands and be into a form that can be sent to ensure that the receiver understands it. We need to get it to the channel. We are halfway there. We have channel. The encoded message conveyed by the source through channel, such as verbal, non-verbal, personal, non-personal, and etc. The channel must be selected, whether it's through speaking, writing, emails, gestures, or body language. What did he mean? So now, the receiver goes through decoding, in which the receiver has to extract the meaning from the symbols sent by the sender and understands completely what he needs. This is the process in which the receiver interprets the encoded message of the speaker. The next one is the target of the communication, which is the receiver. The receiver is the recipient and the one who will decode the message. And lastly is the feedback, in which the receiver and the sender are ensuring that they understood each other correctly. In other words, it is the reaction or the response. The sender now judges the communication success based on the feedback. Before we end this discussion, let us first have the recap.
To begin, we always start with the sender, who has some kind of idea that he is trying to get to a receiver. So that begs the question, how does an idea get from the sender to the receiver? Well, that idea represents the third component in the communication cycle, and that is the message, the idea being communicated. And for our sender here, well, he has a very specific idea in mind. He is in love, and he can't wait to communicate it. So now we arrive at our fourth component, which is the encoding phase. To encode is simply to package the message, and you really only have three different options. They are either verbal, non-verbal, or both. Our sender has decided that a love letter would be the best way to encode his message. This brings us to our fifth component, and that is the channel, which is simply defined as how the receiver takes in the message. Human beings have 5 channels. Think, what else do you have 5 of? If you guessed your 5 senses, you'd be right. Hearing, seeing, and feeling are the primary ways in which human beings take in information. And in this case, if it's a love letter, she will be using sight. Having taken in this message, she now needs to make sense of it. And another word for that is our next component, and that is to decode it. So if encoding is packaging your message, decoding is making sense of it. So, she's unpackaged the message. Now all we do is wait for her response. What do you think? Will she be into him? Okay, it looks like she is. And that response that she's giving right there, that's our next component. And that is the feedback loop. Any response the receiver gives to the sender. So there you have it, one effective cycle of communication.